Opening day baseball. Fewer things are greater in the sports calendar than when March Madness overlaps with getting back on the diamond. We're excited to be here with you, Dan Alexander. It's First Pitch on WagerTalk TV. You really didn't think we weren't going to do a first pitch on opening day, did you? Yeah. So you better hit that like button, better subscribe if you want baseball content all year long. But it all starts today. We're going to be talking some best bets here for you. Going to be taking your live questions as well. And also maybe just some suggestions from myself and my main man, Jesse Schule, on how you might just want to be betting the start of MLB season. Spoiler alert, maybe tread a little lightly. But Jesse, I sent up the bat signal for you, man. I was like, dude, we got to talk some baseball here, right? They were lacking on WagerTalk today. Even last call, they just had Gianni rattling off 30 different things that people may or may not be betting. So, Jesse, I appreciate you answering the call. How are you doing, brother? And are you pumped for baseball to be starting off here today?
Absolutely, Dan. How could you not be? I mean, I'm really looking forward to just how straightforward baseball handicapping is compared to something like the NBA. I know we occasionally get a pitcher scratched. I heard that's already happened here on opening day. But compared to the NBA, where you never know who's playing night in, night out, baseball handicapping with the matchups, the pitchers, the data that you're going to get, I'm really looking forward to diving into baseball. However, you hit the nail on the head. Tread lightly. And for me, My approach is going to be the first week. I'm not touching anything other than first 5-inning bets because these pitchers aren't going to go. A lot of them won't even go 5 innings. Nobody's probably going 7 or 8 or full game. And it's really difficult to handicap bullpens in the middle of a March Madness tournament for a guy that's as dialed in with college basketball as I am.
Yeah, and you don't even have the bullpen metrics that you really need. But, Joe, let's make sure we put a pin in that where Jesse said handicapping baseball feels a lot more straightforward than the NBA. When we're about halfway through the season and the bullpen metrics are lying in our face of how some of these game ends, we'll circle back to how straightforward it feels. But the point is a good one, Jesse. We already got some comments coming in. We appreciate you. Again, if you're hanging out, that like button, that subscribe button is how we bring you the free content, the live content every day. So while you're hanging out with us, whether it's live or on the rewatch, make sure you hit that like button. That little bell goes a long, long way. But it's funny. We had Eric jumping in right away. He was saying Phillies, Pirates, and question mark. Well, Brian S. lets you know it's just the Red Sox. Throw them in there, right? Everybody's betting favorites. And a lot of people, Jesse, are betting road chalk, it seems like. I was listening to Gianni the Greek earlier live on the channel here. Jack, we can just delete your comment. Appreciate it. Good luck with the Nats. But we don't need to be sharing that. We'll get into that game a little bit later here. But Jesse, let's kick off just with the top of the card, right? We're literally an hour away from first pitch here in MLB. Couldn't be more pumped about it. And they're starting it off with two teams who both of them want to start the year off with a bang, right? Because if you think of how it ended for both the Brewers and the Yankees last season, there's got to be some consternation. There's got to be some pain coming in to this year. You look at a Yankees team who 5 runs up in Game 5 of the World Series. Don't matter. Let's squander that and send ourselves into an absolute tizzy there. With the Brewers, they were just a couple outs away in the 9th inning from being moving on in last year's NL Wild Card Series. So that's last year. Got to turn the page to this year. And if you're just checking out the odds on this one, again, kind of head scratching, because when I hear a lot of pundits, when I hear even a lot of our handicappers here on the channel, it seems like everybody is really down on this Yankees team heading into the year. Yet we see them here sitting at around a minus 140, 145 favorite. What do you think about how this one's lined? How is your feeling on the Yankees heading into the year here as we're going to see Peralta and Rodon kicking off the season for us in MLB?
I mean, it's easy to look at the Yankees and say they've got an aging lineup of veterans on the downside of their career. But I've been saying that for the last few years, and they had the best home record in the American League last year. I didn't really like the way they looked coming into last year. They got Paul Goldschmidt. It'd be interesting to see what he's got left in the tank. I'm looking at this game. Peralta got really roughed up in spring. Rodon coming off a nice final outing in spring training, but he wasn't that sharp either overall in spring. And my recollection of Carlos Rodon is often it takes him a while to get into his groove. I like him as a pitcher. He's a guy that's on my bet on list for sure, but only when he's in the groove. You know what I mean? He's not a guy that I want to back coming off a couple bad starts to trust him to get back. I want to see him deliver before I want to jump on him. And so I think it's a pass for me. But if I had to be on this game, I'd probably be looking at Yankees first 5 here.
Yeah, and a lot of folks in the comments here talking about maybe looking at this game, feeling out as an under. Again, the thing with the Yankees and why it's so tough to just bet and go crazy right out of the gate here is because even without Soto, this team can absolutely tear it off of the ball, right? They can hit with the best of them. We know that. We see Rodon looking at 5.5 strikeouts. That could be worth a look. Probably correlated a little bit here with the under. Cody getting it done here for the Yankees today. So the Yankees fans are out in full force, Jesse, but we know sometimes the Yankees fans turn a blind eye to maybe some deficiencies of the team. It's just so hard for me to, with confidence, hop in here, and it is your birthday, G Hurt, but hop in here and say, oh, this feels like an under game for me, right? Because we don't know what Yankees team we're gonna get. We don't know what kind of slump they're in. We don't know if they're feeling it out here early in. So yeah, it's sitting at 8. That number just feels just about right for me, Jesse. I don't know if I could definitively say for really any of these games, because I don't know how much stock I put in spring training, if any. But it's all that we had to draw on. I don't know if I would definitively saying, oh, this one feels like an under to me for really any of the games on the board. What do you think as far as just getting feels for these teams early on? I kind of feel like this opening weekend is where I sit back, I learn, maybe make some pizza money wagers. What about you?
I mean, as far as totals go, it's unders or nothing on opening day. I mean, you're not going to catch me betting overs on opening day with a bunch of rusty lineups. That traditionally it's been unders on opening day or for the first week. However, the weatherman says the ball is going to be carrying well today in the Bronx, and maybe this is a good game to stay off the total because apparently wind blowing out could be a lot of home runs if the guys are making good contact. So I won't be taking this under.
Yeah, and for what it's worth, I mean, I know it ends up being a moot point. This was last year. The last time these two teams saw each other was last season, obviously. 15 came across for the Yankees. However, Soto was in the lineup. So your guess is as good as mine. Hey, keep those comments coming. We'll touch upon some of these games that you guys are looking for. My man, Anthony Thornhill, let's go Phillies indeed. You see me, I had to wear the Homer hat right out of the gate. That was the absolute lock of the century. So cash that one if you thought Dan was coming on in Phillies gear. But Jesse, before you made your way to Thailand, you knew north of the border of me very well. And you got some thoughts here. Second game on the board, Baltimore, Toronto. Looks like we're going to be having Eflin and Berrios in this one. Short kind of favorite for the home side here. Sounds about right to me. How do you see this one shaking out here? And I know you mentioned first fives might be the prescription for you to start the year here. Anything first 5 for you in this one?
Yeah, I like the home team here, first 5 innings. We got a ton of data on the two pitchers. At this time of year, you're looking for data points, and sometimes it's hard to find. But with Jose Berrios going back as far as I can remember, the guy's always been much better at home than he is on the road. I got his career numbers sitting in front of me. 56 and 35 all-time home record, 38 and 38 on the road. Oh, sorry, that is incorrect. 56 and 35 in the first half of the season. So he's always been far better in the first half of the season than in the second half, just 500 in the second half. His all-time home record, 58 and 33, 3.53 ERA. Last year, 10 and 3, 3.18 ERA, 15 starts for the Jays in Toronto. And you got Eflin going for the Orioles. How about that? Eflin, the opening day starter for the Orioles. I don't like the looks of their rotation particularly. Eflin is 3-3 with a 5.72 ERA in 9 career starts against the Jays. They roughed him up last year as well, and he hasn't had a strong spring. So all signs pointing to the Jays here for the first 5. I'm not going to be backing their bullpen or counting on their bullpen, though. So first 5 only for me.
Yeah, I'm with you. You kind of have to take the bullpens out of the equation simply because you don't know. You genuinely don't know. You can look at spring training numbers all you want. Speaking of spring training, though, Jackson Holliday, he did have a pretty strong spring, and it could seem like he's going to be the one getting the nod because you can't mention this game without mentioning the absence of shortstop Gunnar Henderson for the O's in this one, which is why, as far as the pizza money bets that I'm making on the short list for me was the exact same play that Jesse was looking at here. Toronto in the first 5. I think you also have some added excitement that Toronto is getting to open at their own home stadium for the first time since 2022. If you remember, it was renovations at the stadium that pushed them out of town for opening weekend. So, I think there's excitement there. I think there's a little bit of injury stacking up here for the O's. So out of confidence levels, I'm glad that I see my man Jesse Schule is thinking the same as me here, because Toronto first 5 was one that I was definitely
one more
looking
tidbit
at.
on this, Dan. The Canadian media has been putting some rumors out there that the Jays are making a bit of a stronger push to sign Vladdy, and they've sent in a few more offers, and they're hopeful that they can get something done with Vladdy, or at least the talks are back on. So there is some hope there for the Jays.
Yeah, and Bo, who had injuries all last season, seems like he should be coming back into the fold as well. So you pair those two together, get things done for Vladdy, and I think you can have a team here who could definitely make some noise as long as the consistency can be there and they don't get bit by the injury bug. Eric, indeed, extra pepperoni on this bet. Yes, as far as pizza bet goes, the confidence level would make me throw little extra toppings on this one for sure. Jesse, before we get rolling with some more of these questions, let folks know what they can find over at your page, because this really is one of the best times of year. I mean, for you, people know you sometimes as the Iceman, and that's for as cold as you come on air, cold and cool, calm and collected here, as it is what you do on the ice, what you do finding underdogs. So NHL is in full swing. Playoff is right around the corner. MLB action kicking off today, obviously. We got the tourney rocking tonight. NBA, you've been seeing it well. And so, Jesse, when folks head over to your page, they can take advantage of getting 7 days of all access here for baseball for just $49, under $50, just to grab a whole week of MLB plays, start the year off on the right foot. But outside of that, Jesse, that's not all they'll find over at your page if they want to open up some all access for some other sports as well, right?
Absolutely. I'm riding a perfect 12-0 run in the NCAA tournament. I'm 100% perfect with NCAA tournament plays the last 365 days. Last year, I swept the Sweet 16 through the final, and I've carried that over into this tournament. I've only bet on 4 games so far. I've been really picking my spots. I got 2 games tomorrow for tomorrow's Sweet 16 card. Nothing tonight in tonight's college hoops games, but I do have a 5% play on a baseball game, very similar to the one we just discussed. Very similar thought process going in there. It's certainly a first 5 innings play, but that's all I can say about that.
Man, that's one hell of a pizza bet. Man, when you're talking about a 5%er out the gate in MLB, that's the work that Jesse puts in. And give the man credit, guys. Throw this guy a like and definitely check out over on his page, because of all the bat signals sent up, one guy who said the folks need to hear about baseball is the man sitting right to my side here, Jesse Schule. That's right, Anthony. Go Phils, indeed. Let's actually talk that one here, because I want to get your take on this one, Jesse, simply because, yes, it's Zach Wheeler on the mound. On the paper, he's going up against Gore, who is a lefty, for what it's worth. Make sure you note that. But the part...
Stand by, Jess. Actually, Jesse, take the game here as Dan is frozen in his fandom for the Philadelphia Phillies. So if you could take it, it'd be great. Thanks.
Yeah, I got a bit to say about this game. So I got to be honest. I glanced at this game. I got no idea what's going on with either pitcher. What kind of? Obviously, I'm familiar with the pitchers, but I didn't bother checking their spring stats. I just looked at the price and the road chalk and Wheeler and Gore. To me, is a young guy who's expected to be improving throughout his career. I'm expecting this could be a breakthrough year for him. So without even really digging into this game, just the price alone, the road chalk, of course, at first glance, Wheeler's pitching for the Phillies. Easy to have a knee-jerk reaction, go Phillies. But just I was completely disinterested in. I didn't even want to justify it to myself. Just bad spot, bad price. Like Dan said, opening day at home for a team like Washington, they're going to be all pumped up. And, I think Mackenzie Gore could be due for a bit of a breakthrough year here. So that's why I'm staying off this one. I'm not saying load up on Washington. I'm just saying it's a pass for me because I don't want to lay the chalk with the road favorite and Zach Wheeler and the Phillies.
Man, I really deserve that, don't I? I talk Phillies, and then some way, somehow, I'm the one who freezes here. There's some poetic justice in there for sure, Jesse. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but the point that I was actually going to make is I agree with Jesse here, right? I think this price is wild for a Phillies team that I don't know how great they're going to look to start the year here. Another team that reminds me a lot of that Yankees squad just as far as the streakiness goes, right? And I think there's still some frustration even heading into the year as far as keeping Skipper at the head of the team there. And this always feels like a trip that the Phillies automatically think, oh, thank God we get to play the Nationals to start off the year. That works for me. This price just doesn't make sense to me, guys. And also what I was saying before I froze there was when you look around town, the book who's saying, hey, come on, give us your Phillies bets is the one who's hanging a minus 145, and that's Circa Sports. So that always worries me a little bit when they're talking, 5 cents, 10 cents off a market. It worries me when you're saying, hey, come on down and bet the Philadelphia Phillies. Yes, it's Wheeler on the mound, right? So if you're going to bet this game, okay, you look towards Phillies first 5, but you're going to have to lay the half run because the price doesn't make sense there either. So this is a dog or pass spot for me. Maybe folks are saying I'm talking out of two sides of my mouth because I got the Phillies cap on here. But this price to me, Jesse, I think you touched upon it perfectly. It's just, why would you do it, right? It's opening day. Why would you lay minus 155? So if you're asking
you don't have to bet on every game.
Yeah. What's the parlay buster for me? I think it could be the Philadelphia Phillies if they're your 3-leg, MLB parlay that everybody loves. What do you think about that? How about any of these other favorites that maybe could be a parlay buster for you? Because for me, it's the Phillies.
There won't be any parlaying for me. I mean, the Yankees is going to be a popular one. All 3 games that you listed, what was it? Phillies, Red Sox, and Pirates. I don't like any of those. That's probably going to be a lot of parlays: Phillies, Red Sox, Pirates, and I think that's I could give you reasons to not have all 3 of those sides.
Yeah, we had Jack who earlier was saying, "Hey, give me the Nats." Unfortunately, I agree with him. How about game of the day here? Before we throw up in our mouth to start, Halos in the AA White Sox. Kikuchi Burke. Jesse, did you even handicap this game? Because I saw it was on the schedule and I said, oh, hell no, minus 155 with Kikuchi. Forget about it.
No. I had a little look at it. I looked at Burke because
you looked at it as you were scrolling past to a game that you'll actually bet, right?
For me, it was Chicago or nothing. And then I saw Burke had, 3 or 4 good starts at the end of last year. Not a great spring, so you can't talk me into Chicago. Not enough data on Burke to tempt me. So it's just a pass. I mean, I said it before. There's a lot of games today. You don't have to bet on every one.
Yeah, and if you are betting, tread lightly unless it's something you really feel like you have a good vibe. Speaking of which, check out Jesse's page 5% play rocking right now. WT.buzz/JS. Loving all these comments coming. Sassy Slayer asking about Yankees Brewers. You can rewind a little bit. We touched upon that one right at the top. A lot of folks thinking it was an under game, and Jesse giving his thoughts on that one as well. So appreciate you joining us, Sassy. Hit that like button and subscribe. And yes, indeed, glue sniffers, we are back. It is baseball. And man, the legs on Leg Show Magazine, you never know what you're going to get there. Trig is most definitely betting the White Sox. We reached out to Trig to have him on the program to talk about his White Sox love. He will be with us tomorrow at 1 p.m. That's right. We're going to be streaming live. First pitch tomorrow, right after Wager Talk today. Get you ready to go for the baseball action on Friday, heading into the weekend. Trig will be my guest. So take the over on amount of time that he is speaking. 3 topping pizza day for sure. Jesse, real quick here, let's touch upon a couple more games and then we'll get the folks out of here. We're about 40 minutes away from first pitch in that Milwaukee and Yankees game. One of the other ones that you mentioned there, and probably the most popular bet on the board today, Paul Skeens and the Pittsburgh Pirates taking on Alcantara and Miami. You, me, and Joe were talking about it before the show. You were like, I mean, Alcantara isn't all that bad. And the response from Joe was inappropriate. Is he good? Is he that good? But the bet that everybody's taking here, first 5 Pirates, guys on the morning wager, they bet it like 4 days ago when the lines open, sitting around minus 145 if you want to back Skeens on the full game. Let's be real though, Jesse. Neither of these guys are going the full game. So let's split it in half. Do you agree with everyone in the betting market that's just saying, hey, Mr. Mustache, Livy Doon style, we're going with the Pirates? Because when everybody's on one side, it doesn't feel right. But this one kind of feels right to me. What do you think?
You know, I'm not opposed to betting the Pirates when Skeens is pitching for the first 5 innings in a lot of situations. Even though it's going to be every time he pitches, it's going to be a real huge public play. I don't mind riding with the public if I think the public's right. I think the public's wrong about this one. The Pirates, aside from Skeens, I'm not sold on the rest of the team. They're going to protect him. They're not going to want him to, burn out his arm on opening day. It's road chalk, and Alcantara, I mean, I know Joe was skeptical because he's coming off of an injury, but he's looked damn good this spring. A lot of those guys, when they go through the injury, I'm guessing it was Tommy John. Some guys, get even stronger after. Some guys have had huge bounce backs after the Tommy John surgery. This guy was a Cy Young caliber pitcher before the injury. He's looked like that guy in spring. Obviously, the Marlins think he's that guy for him to be starting on opening day. And probably I'd lean Marlins after the first 5 innings when the starters come out. So I might look at Marlins home dog run line or just home dog or first 5 plus a half even. I think there's a good chance for Alcantara to have a good start here.
Yeah, but the question is, Jesse, even with a good start, like how deep does he go? Like Show Magazine puts up a potential play at his strikeouts under simply because coming off of that surgery, you see him on a pitch count. I mean, obviously nothing confirmed there from the manager, but that could be a way to attack it. Another way to attack it, folks. Let's just get real, D-Gen, right out the gate. It's opening day. It's time to start betting some Nerfies. If we like both the pitchers in this matchup, why are we just taking no-run first inning, right?
There you go. I forgot about that. I almost want to slap myself in the face for forgetting about that. I think the Nerfy is going to be a real popular one here as well. But I think that's probably the better play than Pirates first 5.
Nerfy, right? It's because if Alcantara is cooking,
it'll be extremely expensive though.
Yeah. I gotta look up what the price is on that. Let me grab it here for you quick. We'll grab it for you, circle back. But yeah, there's no way it's not gonna be expensive. First inning here, under a half run. Oh yeah. How about minus 195? Can I interest you in a 195 Nerfy?
Yeah,
That's
it's
going to be a parlay piece for someone, Jesse. Nerfy, I wish it was 160. I would be betting it with two fists if it was 160, Jack. We're looking at minus 195 here. It's no good. That's no good right there. If you want to ISO in on one of the teams, though, Miami Marlins hits. Hits, we're not even asking for a run. That's minus 120 for under 5.5. So the juice is telling you, yeah, Jack, 190. I wouldn't bet that with Carm's money. As Carmine Bianco, our friend here, is in the chat. All right, maybe I would bet it with Carm's money. Just maybe. Jesse, another game that you had eyed up. We talked about a lot of these early games, but guys, staggered starts throughout the day. Has some games even starting at 10:10 Eastern time. Everybody's lovable favorite loser, Oakland and Severino taking on Seattle. Gilbert on the mound there. Another price that's heavy, this time not a road favorite. We got a pretty heavy home favorite here. Any thoughts on how to bet one of these late night games? We also got Chicago and Arizona. I know you got some vibes here on this Seattle one, though, Jesse, so I'll turn it over to you.
Yeah, I've already poo-pooed a couple road favorites that were in the 145, 150 range. And we got an even bigger price here with Seattle and Gilbert at home. But I actually think this one makes more sense. Seattle last year won 49 games at home. Only the Yankees had more home victories than Seattle. They had 50. So for as mediocre of a team as Seattle has been, they're damn good at home. Logan Gilbert, MLB best 0.89 whip last year. So if you look at his overall numbers, his win-loss and ERA, he appeared to have like a okay season. But if you look at that whip of 0.89, it leads me to believe that he was far better than his stats were showing. I actually like Gilbert as a long shot for a Cy Young this year.
Oh, wow.
I think, the guy's pretty good. And Mariners at home opening day, they play well in that ballpark. Maybe a first 5 run line, lay the half run and eliminate the juice. If you could get that 170 is looking kind of ugly. There is better prices, or certainly early this morning when I was putting out my free picks on this game, there was some better prices available. But yeah, at that 170, I'd look for first 5 run line to get that juice down.
Yeah, but that's the nature of the day, right? People are like, oh, wait, it's opening day. So many of these prices that you had early on in the morning, and that's the nature of baseball, folks, too, right? Like if you want to get opening lines overnight, if you feel like you have a good handicap, great time to bet when the lines come out beforehand. But these lines that have been sitting up for opening day, yeah, any of those prices that you think you were going to get, most likely gone. A point that Jack makes here that I'm not quite sure about, liking Oakland in general, not sure about backing them today specifically, but first 20 games this year, blind back, they make you money. Well, we can find that out, Jack. We're going to start tracking today. So we'll start on a money line tracker and we'll circle back about 20 games in the season and see how it works out for you, Jack. I'm not sure if I have the stones, a little reference there to our man Andy Lang on WagerTalk today. Not sure if I have the stones to blindly back Oakland to do anything. That's the feeling for me. Jesse, a couple more questions before we shut it down here. 30 minutes from opening pitch here in the MLB. Fatone is looking at this Giants and Reds game. He's sitting on an over ticket, 7.5. He's holding the ticket. He's got it around minus 125. Excited that baseball is back indeed, Fatone. As far as the over in this one is concerned, I could see why that would be the look here early, right? Kind of feeling like a little bit lower of a total, 2 teams that can hit here a little bit. Again, Jesse, I feel like categorically you mentioned heading into the year, you're just starting to lean unders. But at 7.5, I could see it making sense here for our man Fatone 24. What do you think in this one?
I think there might be some weather. The reason you're getting 7.5 might be some cold temperatures, winds blowing.
Oh, wow. Yeah, right. 60s.
I'm not 100% sure, but you're definitely going to want to check the weather before you're betting a total at Great American. You can't talk me into any overs on opening day. It's just not going to happen. Just not ready to do that. One thing that I want to get into, if if we can move on to a different point, because I don't really have great thoughts on this game. So the Dodgers, Blake Snell goes for the Dodgers tonight. And Blake Snell is obviously at his best. He's a Cy Young caliber guy. Blake Snell, big name, big money pitcher. But the last 2-3 years, he's been just brutal in the first month or first 2 months of the season. And last year, he was literally the worst pitcher in the majors in the first couple months, and then the best from there on. After he sorted things out, he went from couldn't get anybody out to unhittable, just just like that. After about 10 or 12 really terrible starts, he's unhittable. But this is a long-standing trend for Snell. It's been a few years in a row now. I don't know what his routine is through spring training, or what maybe he puts on the pounds or drinks too much in the off season. I could see how that would happen. But he's been brutal to start seasons, and I'm going to keep my eye on Snell. I was really tempted to be on the Tigers as a dog, but obviously the price isn't great there. And, the Tigers bats. I mean, I can't put myself in a position to want to be backing the Tigers bats. So I passed on the game, but I'm going to keep a close eye on it. If Snell looks shaky in this game, I'll probably he'll be on my fade list for the first month of the season. And I see Ralph was backing that as well.
I think one thing that kind of surprised me, if you're looking at strikeout props in this one, I think Snell name gets it done, right? But anyone who was betting last year knows Skubal ain't no slouch either, right? So I was honestly thinking, a way to kind of attack this, because, Snell, guy who starts slow out of the gate, that was one of the things that buzzed it for me. I was leaning that money line, but we should be getting closer to like plus 150 as opposed to plus 135, right? So that's why it just wasn't there for me. I would look at Snell going under strikeouts potentially. If he does have a slow start, maybe they have an early hook on him here, sitting at 6.5, and you get plus 120 to look towards that under. That would maybe be a way that I would look to bet it, simply because if he does get outs, I think it's going to be because of the defense behind him. I'm not sure if he's really going to be dealing like maybe he should against a lineup who's shown a susceptibility to be able to hit guys who maybe struggle out of the gate here a little bit. So that's something that I would look at, and especially with Snell, a guy who I agree with Leg Show can get his pitch count up there pretty early. If it's not resulting in strikeouts, getting plus 120 on a guy who historically doesn't start great to go under his strikeouts at 6.5, that would maybe be a way that I would look to attack this game. If you're enjoying the show, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe, and make sure you check out Jesse. Give him a thanks. He's got a 5%er rocking tonight. Check him out. wt.buzz/JS. Jesse, let the folks know what else they'll find over at your page before we shut things down here. Rip a couple more comments. Again, appreciate you tuning in live. It's why we love doing these shows. But Jesse, when people head on over to your page one more time, what are they going to find over there, brother?
Well, when it comes to NBA, I'm focusing on player props at the moment. I'll start getting more into point spreads as we get closer to the playoffs, which I guess we're getting pretty close. It's getting to be about that time. Had a lot of success in the NBA over the years, riding a 7-1 NBA run. Like I mentioned before, 12-0 at the NCAA tournament the last 365 days. I got a 5%er on tomorrow's card, and I got that 5% baseball play tonight.
You love to hear it. That's how you know this is one of the best times of the year, when Jesse rattles off about like 4 different leagues and he's like, I'm running hot in all of them, right? So let's start it off with a 5% win alongside our man, Jesse Schule. You can grab that play right now for over $30, or get 7 days of Jesse's all access of baseball plays for under $50. That'll include the 5%er tonight, and then we keep on rolling for the next 7 days. That's right. Baseball is back. It's not only Jesse who you can grab this deal for, but check him out. Any of your favorite cappers at WagerTalk.com. If they're betting MLB, bet right alongside them. 7 days of all access, a whole week of plays for under 50 bones. Huge thanks to everybody tuning in here live. This was an awesome show. Honestly, 3 hours ago, we didn't even know we were doing a first pitch. And then we saw all the comments. We saw everybody saying, we need some baseball talk. Jesse answered the bell. Guys, that's why you subscribe here. That's why you comment here. We are always in the comments. We're always reading them. We love doing shows with you and for you. The likes, the subscribes, that's how we keep it coming your way. Live, free, actionable info every day here on WagerTalk TV. And if you're watching on the rewatch, you don't have to go anywhere, folks, because, there's more betting information for all the sports you love coming up right next here on WagerTalk TV. Have a good one, guys.